guys, so for today's video I'm going to try to do this really cool design that I saw on Pinterest. I've been scrolling on Pinterest a lot lately, just trying to get some inspiration for nail art and stuff, and I saw this one picture. It almost looks like, you know, like bathroom windows where they have like the different squares and they're kind of like wavy looking to, you know, blur the windows so that you can't see into the bathroom, because that'd be really weird if you could see into a bathroom through a window. It looks like that. I'll insert a picture on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about, but it looks like that. But instead of just being clear, it's like this really cool marble kind of look underneath. So I want to see if I can recreate that on some nails. I need to figure out the colors that I'm going to be using. I don't know if I want to do the same colors as in the picture or if I want to do different colors. I do really like the colors in the picture though. I don't know, let me look at what I have real quick and figure out what colors I'm doing. Okay, so the colors that I've decided to use for this set are Orange Blossom, Cabin Fever, Evil Eye, and Peace and Love, all from Ballpit. These colors look really good together, but also they kind of match some of the colors that are on this picture. So I really like that. Like I said, I really like the colors that are on this picture. And I kind of want to use those same colors, and I'm going to do that. But to start off, I'm actually going to use Evil Eye for the base, because I am going to be doing marbling on top. And whenever I do marbling, I like to take one of the colors that I have or that I'm going to be using in the marble and paint one layer of that on the nails. That way, if there are any gaps between the colors when I marble, you're not just seeing a clear nail. It'll be the whatever color you painted, and it will help blend in and, like, you know, look like it's part of the marble instead of, like I said, you just seeing clear nail. So I'm just gonna go ahead and paint all of these with this, and then once I get this on all of the nails, I am going to cure that for 60 seconds. Now I'm just going to take my colors here that I have picked out, and I'm just going to lay some strips of them down on my palette. And I do kind of put a lot because you just never know with marble. Sometimes you use a lot of polish, sometimes you don't use much. So, I am going to try and lay down enough for all 5 of the nails. They are kind of short, so hopefully this will be enough, but who knows. And I am just laying them right next to each other, and if they blend into each other or like merge together, that's fine, because they're going to do that anyhow on the nail. And then you can see I am getting a little bit of the orange on this brush, so I am just kind of wiping that off before I put it back in the bottle. That way I don't contaminate that color. And then if you want, you can take like a dotting tool and swirl them together a little bit. I don't usually do that, so I'm not going to do that here. But then I'm going to take this Born Pretty watercolor nail gel, which is just their blooming gel. And I'm going to apply a thin-ish layer of this to the nail. The last couple times I've used this, it has not worked all that well. I don't know if it's gone bad or what. I know when I first got it, it worked really well and I really liked it. But these last couple times, I'm like, I don't know what's going on with it. I did mix it up really well before applying it here, so hopefully it works pretty good. And I'm just going to take a brush, gel applicator brush, and just scoop them up just like that. And then I'm just going to kind of lay them on the nail. I am going to like squiggle them a little bit. And then this excess here that I have on this brush, I am just going to wipe off on a paper towel. That way I don't have a whole bunch of extra polish on this brush. And then I'm actually going to just run my brush here down along the edge, because there was a lot of gel built up over here and I was not liking it. I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit, let it, spread out a little bit, kind of do its thing. I am going to wipe the edges off with a lint-free wipe here. I almost had a lint-free brush. a lint-free wipe. That way we don't have like a whole lot of polish pooling on the edges here. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick that in and cure that for 60 seconds. And I'm gonna move on and do the rest of the nails. I'm just gonna do the same thing. Have to move my palette over because you can kind of see the light from my lamp over here. I haven't had it affect anything that I'm doing because it's far. The light just kind of, you know, shines far. But I will move the palette sometimes just to make sure there's no accidental curing going on. And then if you feel like you have too much of a certain color or not enough of a certain color, you can just kind of take your brush and just add on the color that you want where you want it. You can scoop from your palette too, but I have enough here to just kind of go like this. we're looking like so far. They look really cool just like this. I love marble nails, so I do really like how these look, and these colors go so well together. They remind me of that one set I did last year. The I think it's like mid-century design that I did. I can't remember what exactly that was called, but I think it was like mid-century or something like that. I don't know. But I think I'd use these same colors except for the green, because I didn't have this green color yet, but I really love these colors. So to get that glass-like look that I was talking about, I'm going to use this clear TRIPPY gel from NAILZ by Dev. I'm just going to take some of it, place it onto the nail, smooth it out, and then create those little lines in it to create like the glass squares, if that makes sense. I'm not wiping these off or removing the sticky layer because this stuff doesn't stick very well if there's not a sticky layer. So keeping that sticky layer to help it stick. I'm just going to grab a little bit out with this cuticle pusher here and then just smush it onto the nail. And this is going to be a tiny bit difficult because I do not have gloves, so I can't use my hands for this. I'm just going to smush it as best as I can with this cuticle pusher here. Try and get it to blend. And I'm not doing a super thick layer of this either. Just kind of thick enough to where I can carve those lines into it, but not so thick that it like bulks up the nail a whole lot, you know? Trying to get this as flat and even as possible. Like I said, it's a little difficult not being able to use my hand. Because if I had a glove on, I would just squish it with my finger, but I do not. I think that's good. I'm gonna use this X-Acto knife that I have and do those lines. Just going to press down into it. And this Trippy gel, you don't have to move super fast because it's not going to like completely level out, but you do want to move a little quickly because it does kind of smooth out. Kind of looks like corn. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cure this for 60 seconds. Well, that's what that looks like. It looks pretty cool. I will say the colors kind of got a little muted though once I added that clear on. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but like in person, they look more pastel on this one than they do like on the rest of these. Just so interesting. I wonder how it'll look once I put the top coat on, if it'll brighten it back up, or if it will stay this muted kind of color. I don't know. Guess we'll find out. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that same process on these 4 nails here. so now I'm going to top coat with the Jinbei Crazy Top in Standard. This is a pretty thin top coat, and that's what I want for this set because I want top coat to get all in the little crevices there and to still have that texture on the nails. So I don't want to use my LGN top coat because it is thicker and I want to keep all the texture. Here is the finished result. They still kind of look a little pastel-ish. Like the colors aren't as bright as they were before I put the TRIPPY gel on, which is a little disappointing. I guess maybe I should have done brighter, more neon colors to counteract that, but also I didn't know that was going to happen. So that's something to keep in mind if you do this. Also, I don't know if that's going to happen with all clear sculpting gels, but when it comes to the NAILZ by Dev one, it does kind of mute out the colors even after top coating. But overall, I think this is a really cool set. Like, it came out pretty cool. It doesn't really give the same kind of effect that the picture did. I mean, that's kind of a given because, you know, I don't know if that's like an actual picture of like glass or if it was like a digital drawing of some sort, or like, you know, how that picture was created. So different mediums are gonna look different, but I do think it looks really cool. I feel like it does give kind of glass vibes, but also it looks like corn. So if you ever want to make corn nails, that's how you can do it. And then this nail was a bit of a struggle. I don't know what was happening with that when I was trying to scoop out the TRIPPY gel, and then you can see this side is like flat And then this side, I don't know what happened here. I don't know why this side is so flat compared to this side. So this side kind of lost a little bit of the texture once I added the top coat on because it is so flat. You can still kind of see it, but I don't know. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I am happy with how it came out for this being my first attempt at something like this. But also, I feel like it could be done better. You know? Like, I feel like if I did this a couple more times, I could get it to look a little better than what it does now. You know, sometimes your first try isn't always the best. And you're like, yeah, I could definitely do better. Now that I, you know, kind of know what I'm doing here. Yeah, I think I definitely would use brighter colors. If I did this again, I would definitely use brighter colors because these colors just kind of got muted and I don't like them as much now with the 3D gel on top of it and how I like muted them out. I really liked how the colors looked before I had all this on, and now that it's on, I'm like, I do not like this. Also, the marble is a little bit hard to see through everything, but like you can also, like, you kind of get the idea here. You know, you can kind of see the marble. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this set, like, overall. It's not my favorite, but it's not my least favorite either. Like I said, I think overall it's pretty decent and like was done fairly well-ish. But yeah, I don't know if it's the colors that I'm not liking, or maybe it's just, you know, having that 3D gel on top, or a combination of the two. I don't know. Honestly, I was expecting a little more out of this, and like I was expecting to like it a lot more because I really love that picture and the way that looks in that picture, but having it here on the nails, I feel like it's the colors. I really feel like it might be the colors, and that's why I'm not liking this. Because for some reason these colors just do not look very nice with the 3D gel on top. They looked so good before. Now, I don't know. I'm gonna have to try this again. I'm gonna have to get some more clear sculpting gel because I used pretty much all of it, and I'm going to have to try this again with different colors, and I'm gonna try it with neon colors or like brighter colors because this just is not it. anyhow, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.